everybody. These notes are on the 3 forms of a quadratic equation. So first, let's talk about a form we've talked about before. So in the left middle, we're going to start with standard form. Standard form is written as y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. And as an example, you might have seen something like y equals negative 2x squared plus x minus 8. If we look at the top left corner, there's another form a quadratic equation can be written called vertex form. Vertex form looks like y equals ax minus h squared plus k. So in vertex form, you might see something like y equals, say, 3 x minus 2 squared minus 5. And then there's the form we're going to work with today in the bottom left corner that's called factored form. Factored form is when your equation is written in a form where you have your a on the outside, and then you have 2 sets of parentheses that have x inside, like x minus m and x minus n. So for example, you might have y equals x minus 8, x plus 2. This is in factored form because we have 2 sets of parentheses. Here's why factored form is useful. We talked about before when you had a graph, your x-intercepts are where your graph crosses the x-axis. Factored form can tell you your x-intercepts without even needing a graph. So for factored form, your x-intercepts are these 2 numbers that are in the parentheses with your x, if it's just x. So m, 0, n, 0. Notice in the parentheses for x minus m, we need to have that minus for us to be just able to write it as m. So if we look in the example where it says x minus 8, because we have that minus, we know we can just write our x-intercept as 8, 0. If you look on the second example where it says x plus 2, we do not have a subtraction sign, we have a plus sign. So we could think of that instead as x minus negative 2. So our x-intercept would be negative 2, 0. basically, if you have -8 in your equation, you're going to have +8 for your x-intercept. And if you have +2 for your intercept or for your equation, you're going to have -2 for your x-intercept. So make sure you flip the signs. Later on, we will talk about why vertex form is useful and why standard form is useful. But today and this week is all focused around factored form and finding the x-intercepts. I'm going to show you 2 examples on Desmos. So here we have an equation. If you look in the top left, it says y equals x minus 3 times x plus 2. This equation is in factored form. The opposite of -3 is +3. So one of the roots or x-intercepts on our graph should be 3, 0. Let's look. Our graph crosses the x-axis, at 3, 0. The other one says x plus 2. The opposite of +2 is -2. So one of the roots should be -2, 0, which it is. So notice, x minus 3, the root is 3, 0. X plus 2, the root is -2, 0. Let's look at the other example. We don't have to worry about this negative because it's on the outside of our parentheses. So we have x plus 5. The opposite of plus 5 is -5. So one of our roots is -5, 0. X minus 1. The opposite of -1 is +1. So our other root is at +1, 0. So those are our zeros, or our x-intercepts, or what's called our roots.